Hey, hi everyone. Thanks so much for being with us today. We're so pleased to have you here and so lucky to be working with one of our most valued partners, TriZetto. Joining us today is Cheryl Taylor. She's the Director of Healthcare Consulting and RCM. And with over 30 years of experience as a revenue cycle leader, Cheryl is an expert in end-to-end revenue functions, collection rate coding, and compliance. So all that being said, she's really the one you want to hear from today. So Cheryl, thanks for joining us, and I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone, and Cognizant. I've been in the RCM realm for over 30 years and am always excited when I have the opportunity to knowledge share with others. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about some learning objectives, data around the opponent, some battle tactics, reaping benefits from your victory, and then recapping some key takeaways. So number one would be understanding how denials impact your organization. Two, those top causes for denials. What is the trend for those top denials and offenders? How to prevent and work them. And then the benefits of having a proactive approach to denials. And my goal is that you either learn something new or take away ideas on how to improve the denial prevention that's currently in your practice. So let's start with the opponent. And we all know who that is. It's always a good idea to ingest the previous year's trends to determine our opportunities for the new year. So as you can see here, staffing shortages and increased wages, which are obviously a direct correlation, is why 63% of businesses outsource. And that's because there aren't enough people to do the work, especially with claim backlog being the number one culprit. The biggest ongoing issue is denials. Shocker, I know, but true, and why we are here today. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel because 80% of healthcare providers are planning to invest in technology to help support us in this journey. So today we're going to start with some data, as it always helps me to level set the why. So denials are growing year over year. They aren't getting better, and the insurance companies are counting on you to not resubmit your denied claims. And 60% of those don't get resubmitted. 60%. From 2022 to 2023, we see a 5% jump, but some entities are jumping 10 to 15%, and we'll discuss why during this presentation. Recently, I had the pleasure of discussing denials with a vice president of revenue cycle, where it was mentioned that during a brief stint at an insurance carrier, he was told that he had to deny 1 and 3 claims. Why? Because the majority of them won't rework or appeal, and it saves us $10 million plus a year. So for me personally, while disturbing, I felt vindicated in a thought I had always had, which was like either one electronic file would just fall by the wayside or one envelope full of claims, whichever one at the time. But it didn't make sense, and now it does. In the revenue cycle, we have 3 mostly distinct parts of the process. We have front end or patient access, we have mid-cycle coding and billing, and we have back end, which is claim closeout, AR, payments, etc. Almost 50% of the spend is allocated to the back end of the revenue cycle, yet you can clearly see the biggest opportunity to remediate denials is in patient access or front end patient journey, 41% and growing. I would love to tell you this is an anomaly. It's not. In our consulting business, we do denial assessments all the time. I have yet to put recommendations together where the front end processes aren't the number one culprit. However, as an industry, we aren't focusing the efforts accordingly. Given that we know that patient access is currently our biggest opportunity to reduce denials, I thought it prudent to showcase for you where they're coming from, which I'm sure you won't be surprised. So eligibility and coordination of benefits, it's kind of that benefit issue. Everyone focuses on do you or don't have insurance. And yes, that's important. However, there is more layers to that, which is do you have other insurance? Which one goes first? Did we verify that? And then there's the benefits component of eligibility, which is are they even eligible for the services you're providing? Frequency is another big eligibility issue, meaning can they have the service more than X number of times in a year? Now let's talk about authorizations. Did we get one? That's one problem. The next one is did we perform the service we got the authorization for? More often than not, we never complicated, and insurance companies have built it this way so that they can make money. Most of them are quote unquote not for profits, right? And that's counterintuitive to healthcare, in my opinion. So denials have a cost. If your claim isn't clean and money owed by patients isn't collected at time of service, you are already losing revenue. The cost can be between $25 to $100 based on the type of denial, or if you have to actually go through many levels of appeal to get reimbursement. So how, you may ask, employee cost of money not being in your practice's hands. There's several ways in which we end up adding those dollars to whether it went clean the first time versus we have to work extra hard to get. A well-known bank conducted a survey and asked both providers and patients the same question around if the information provided on medical bills was adequate. The disparity showcases how much providers still need to focus on how patients truly understand the financials of healthcare and what their options are. If 96% of the providers say, oh yeah, we're giving them all kinds of information, but then when we survey patients privately and they say 8%, 8% are saying, yeah, it's adequate, then we still have an opportunity to make improvements. Once a healthcare entity truly focuses on the patient experience, especially when it comes to services, cost, and financial obligations, the satisfaction stars will align and denials will decrease and revenue will increase. So let's talk about some battle tactics you can have to have more of a fighting chance. So what's your first line of defense? Data. We can't make good financial decisions without it. It should be our North Star in order to design our strategic tactics. But how should we look at it? What do we need to know? I've outlined a few of my favorites on this slide. Volumes by count and dollars for denials. I like to see if they are going up quarter over quarter or down based on strategies we've implemented. I like to look at reason groups to get the whole story, not just a top 10, because a top 10, while important, may not tell the entire story. So meaning, let's say you've got X number of denials. If you were to categorize those by front, middle, and back end, would you be able to see a more holistic point of view? Procedure codes are important to understand because it gives us the opportunity to see and communicate to our providers where there are issues. For example, if you keep coding for new patients' visits and those are only allowed for a certain amount of time, that's an opportunity in our organizations. And if an entity has multiple locations, we want to understand if we can pinpoint locations that may be struggling so we can be precise in our recommendations. When I started a new role a few years back, the CFO came to me and said, quarter over quarter, we're losing money and I don't know why or where from. I reached out to my 3 RCM vendors and I said, I want you to build me a report that organizes the denial codes by front end, mid-cycle, and back end, because I needed to understand where the leakage was coming from. Now, I know it happens everywhere, but I also know that there is usually a culprit. And in this case, all the vendors produced a report that showcased that my front end was bleeding in eligibility and authorizations. This allowed me to put some quick actions in place to stop the bleeding, but also long-term strategies. And the point I'm making is that without the data, I wouldn't have known where to start or the severity of the issue. Part of the data journey is ensuring your practice focuses on key performance indicators, KPIs. Knowing what your practice should be at from a metric perspective and where they are can help you support the efforts for remediation. 3 areas to start with is your AR over 90 days, your clean claim rate, and how much you're writing off. There are many more. However, we all have to start somewhere, and this is a good place. But why is this important? Well, you can't do better if you don't have goals to move towards. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say that you measure where you are at and you fall on the medium to low mark of where a KPI should be. Every improvement you make in the direction of best in class in these areas will equal additional revenue versus more write-offs. Once you are armed with your data and you know what needs to be done, it's imperative you move quickly. Your contracts dictate not only time limits for claim submission, but for appeals as well. It's also important to think about the strategy and building muscle memory for how to create a program that not only handles these quickly, but has an oversight component. Meaning we don't just fix them, which is important. We need to know that we have addressed the root cause and that our data is showing us that our process improvements are working. Your outcome should be increase in cash, reduction in claims timing out, and future reduction in the same denial. There are 2 areas we need to consistently be reviewing and updating as needed. So we have comprehensive reviews and functional reviews. Those comprehensive reviews, which is our people, process, and technology, it's do we have the right people doing the right jobs? And are we consistently uplifting their training? Are our processes aligned to what our data is telling us? And are we leveraging our technology to its max benefit? Do we need others to fill in gaps and help support these efforts? And those functional reviews, which is the deep understanding of our denials and where they are coming from, because from this, it will help you to identify your operational gaps. More often than not, you'll need more resources. Our mindset of my internal team can handle it, or we will have to make it work with what we have, just doesn't work anymore. Our teams are burnt out. They can't do more unless we arm them with better tools for the battle. Insurance companies are quickly on the path of adopting RPA and AI, which is bots and artificial intelligence, which will mean more denials to come. And we are seeing that. It's not enough anymore to ask staff to do more with less. We have to take a holistic approach that's inclusive of experts and technology and expand the team, even if it's temporary expansion, so that a practice can thrive. That doesn't necessarily mean more people. It means that the status quo won't be enough. So technology, it's all the buzz right now. And let's be honest, healthcare has been completely underserved in this area for quite some time. Even with the current advancements, denials continue to climb. Why? I wish it was one simple answer. However, with bots and AI, we will have a better opportunity to help our organizations, our health practitioners, and RCM staff to do more with less. Your best defense right now is a strong offense. So garbage in is garbage out, and we should be leveraging all the tech possible for eligibility and authorization. There are many good solutions out there today, whether that's people or tech. Leveraging automation or bots for easy stuff like checking if a claim is on file. If we aren't on those until it hits day 60 or 90, we're already too late. So there is fun stuff ahead for us. Denial management has been evolving over the years, but work queues, heat maps, and analyzing claims, while needed, starts out behind the game because the claim is already denied. One of the more interesting opportunities for us is being able to predict whether a claim would pay or be denied prior to sending. Currently, we send our claim, cross our fingers, and hope that it gets paid. And 80 to 90% of the time it does, but that 10 to 20% that don't, oh, the work it takes. There is new technology in predicting a claim's ability to pass through or be denied. Predictive claims outcome is a solution prior to a claim going out, and it's a game changer for us. Having technology that knows the payer's rules, having our practices historical denied data, and the ability to review what we are about to send to determine if it will be denied or not, it's a critical next step. And I look forward to seeing this new tech in action because pushing the boulder up the hill to get reimbursement, it's getting old. So let's talk about some of those benefits. We can flip the script on denials. And while we know that on average, there are 262 billion in denials each year, but what if instead of only addressing 40% of those denials, we did 60% or better? Well, that now gives each organization a true revenue lift. Is there a cost to the lift? Probably. But if you leverage the data, do the math, you will see that these strategies will be worth it. And while data is our North Star, process optimization is another key component. If we don't constantly uplift staff education, review for redundancies, and eliminate manual processes where possible, the hamster wheel continues. Operational efficiencies, decreased costs, and enhanced staff capabilities is how the practices of the future will survive. We should be surveying the patients in our practice to better understand how to serve them. Me personally, I say give patients what they're asking for, because this not only ties to their satisfaction, which is crucial, it ties directly to your revenue. When they don't know what it will cost, you don't know what to collect at the time of service. If you haven't put enough focus on your digital strategy for communication, I'd get on that. I read an interesting survey that said more people have a cell phone than a toothbrush globally, which should tell you that if you aren't leveraging cell phones for estimates, payments, payment plans, care compliance, or even just engagement, I would encourage you to get on that strategy as quickly as possible. Patient satisfaction is critical to denial reduction. We are in this industry and it's confusing for us. Imagine if you are not. I've heard organizations say, well, it's their policy, they should know what it includes or not. But let's be fair and acknowledge how challenging it is for all. However, we are here to serve them. What are some of the ways we can reduce denials with our patients? Transparency. We have to do our part in letting the patients know what items are covered or not to the best of our ability, and making sure they receive easy to understand statements, and we make paying bills easy. So I'd like to end with some key takeaways. My first is proceed thoughtfully. Technology is key, no doubt. However, if we lay that on top of broken processes, poorly implemented technology, or staff that needs education or training, this can lead to disappointment when things don't turn out the way you envision. So look at the organization in a holistic way. So what should you know to reduce your denials? First and foremost, again, data. If you are using just generic reports and you're not aggregating them in a way to help you understand the opportunities of your business, you could be missing out on areas of focus. Number two, denials are costing you, whether that's revenue loss, staff burnout, but not doing the analysis of revenue loss versus cost of fixing the root cause of denials is the real foundation for improvement. I encourage people at the beginning of the new year to really take into consideration all of the items they wrote off last year. What does that dollar amount look like? And what could you implement in this year in order to head off those write-offs? Number three, remediation strategy is key, and creating a roadmap based on your organization's opportunity to reduce denials will help everybody in the organization align. From patient access, mid-cycle, and back, everybody involved should be part of the solution. Number four, bringing those pieces together, telling a cohesive story, but leveraging data. What the denials cost the organization, and combining that with a remediation strategy are what's needed for everyone to buy in. I've heard people say that it helps when an outsider tells leadership this message, and maybe that's true. But all three of these items need to be addressed no matter who does it. Last but not least is technology. It absolutely needs to be part of the conversation. Just know that it by itself won't fix it. It's got to be part of the bigger plan, which is inclusive of people and process. Thank you for your time today.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Cheryl. My name's Eric Cahoon. I am the channel partner manager at TriZetto. I want to just spend a few minutes with you and talk about some of the technology that Cheryl had mentioned that we have in place today to help you manage those denials, whether it be on the front, middle, or back end of the process. I've highlighted a few here. In the next few slides, I'm just going to give you a few screenshots of what that technology would look like to the end user. But when you talk about the front end of the cycle, of course, you have eligibility, verification, whether it be referral or prior authorization. Those are services and solutions that we have in place today under the Revolution partnership with RevClear. We also, but in addition to that, in the middle of the cycle here, it may advance here while we're talking, but we have things such as the predictive denials, which is a new product that we're just rolling out right now. It's actually in the beta stage, but it's going to, at the front end of the cycle, be able to highlight claims that are going out the door that might run into issues with the payer and get denied. So you're actually able to flag that on the front end rather than having to work that on the back end, which of course is going to be a big time saver for you. And then we have all the other reporting on top of that through the analytical platform that we have in place today. This is our denial dashboard. It comes from our Denials Workflow Pro product. These are some of the reports that you'd have available to you where you're going to be able to quickly identify denied claims as they come in from the payer. It groups them by category. There's a lot of sorting and different reports you can pull out of this platform. But the key is to give you not only the tools to help identify trends and that type of analysis, but also give you a way to automate the next step in that process, and that is to go through an appeal. If you could tell her to hit the next slide. This is a screenshot of the predictive claim outcome. Again, on the front end of the cycle, we're going to be able to tell you, with a certain amount of certainty, whether or not that claim is going to get denied. It actually puts those in different work queues, for you as well. But again, if you imagine, rather than having to work that denied claim on the back end when we get that 835 ERA back from the payer, you're going to be able to work this claim before it even goes out the door. So again, this is a screenshot. I took it a little bit out of order here as the way I described it, but this is a screenshot of what what that product would provide back to you. And again, this is going to be a new commercialized product here over the summer of this year. So a lot more information to come on that, but it's exciting stuff to be able to move that to the front end of the cycle. Cheryl, if you can hear me, go ahead and hit the next slide. And then again, tools that we have available to you to actually work, a denied claim. We have a complete library of all the denied claim, paperwork that goes out to the payer. So if you want to appeal or go through a process of working that claim with the payer, we have the complete library that is continuously updated of all the appeal forms from each payer. It actually automates the preparation of the paperwork that needs to go into the payer. So all you need to do within our system is basically say, hey, I want to appeal these 10 claims, and we create all that paperwork for you and get it out the door for you. So this is an add-on product, but it could save you a lot of time and help streamline that manual process of going through an appeal with the payer. And I got one more, Cheryl, if you can move forward. And I believe this is a screenshot of our analytics platform. Again, there's a lot of tools there that'll be available to you again, pull data out of the system, put it in an easy readable format, allow you to sort, look for trends and so forth. So we have an Analytics Plus product that's available under the RevClear partnership with us, where you can have this extra layer of reporting that you can pull out and again, help you manage that denial process. So any information that you need on these solutions, certainly you can reach out to your RevClear contact. And again, they can coordinate a time where we can go through a demo and show you how these solutions work. But thanks for your time. I appreciate it. I'm going to kick it over to Will with Revolution.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cheryl and Eric. Huge thanks for providing those tips. Denials and rejections can certainly be a frustrating part of billing, and you've done a great job arming us with some new tactics to make billing a little bit less stressful. So now billing should be part of any good practice management software, and Revolution is no exception. So joining us now is Will Noyes from the Revolution side to give a quick rundown of how we work with TriZetto to make claims management really a breeze. So turn it over to you, Will.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. My name is Will. I am one of the account managers here from RevolutionEHR. Nice to connect with everybody here. This is just a quick run through of RevClear so everyone can take a quick look. Obviously, with RevClear, we're talking about the ability to have the powerful integrations provided between RevolutionEHR and TriZetto provider services. with RevClear, able to manage all of your claims all in one place here. So just wanted to obviously illustrate for y'all. This is just a quick recap here that this is a demo environment, so very limited, of course. But here we can see just a quick view on how we can easily submit claims directly within Revolution. Just by a simple click here, whether you want to do claims in batches, line item, view invoices. Also, with the ability to view denied or rejected claims. Luckily for our fictitious Middleton Eye Care, we don't have any rejected claims. Woohoo! So, but if I did, I would have the ability to review them here so I can quickly review and then resubmit for, of course, faster payments from the payer. Also, we have here the ability to view our invoices. So this is the ERA data that's going to be collected from TriZetto, which is going to populate here for pending invoices. We have this new RevClear auto posting. I'm sure people have heard about it. We like to just illustrate that it is the ability to collect the ERA data and collect pending invoices. Here, practice can assign write-off reasons as well as transfer codes as well. These are going to be where you can assign these for your practice reporting. Also, too, practice can submit and allocate payments directly here, whether you want to do it by line item or do it by batches. It's all up to you as a practice how you want to do your practice reporting. So this way, we can help you guys further streamline your billing in your practice. We do look forward to connecting with you and sharing with you how RevClear can help streamline your practice. That's about all I got, Dan.
Huge thanks to Cheryl and Eric and Will for being here. Yeah, thanks again for joining with us, and have a great rest of your day.